122 Ottoman galleys are moving through the pre-dawn darkness in absolute silence. 122 ships and the sound of oars cutting water. On the deck of the lead galley, a figure in a red and gold admiral's robe stands at the bow. He has been standing there for 2 hours. He has not moved. His name is Hayreddin Barbarossa. He is 60 years old. He commands the largest Muslim fleet ever assembled in the Mediterranean, and he is about to attack a fleet more than twice the size of his own. Anchored in the Bay of Preveza ahead of him are 302 ships. Spain, Venice, the Pope, Genoa. Every Catholic power in Europe contributed vessels to this armada. The commander is Andrea Doria, the most respected admiral in Europe. Doria has spent 3 days anchored in this bay, waiting. He has 302 ships. He is content to wait. Barbarossa studies the surface of the water. The wind off the Greek coast in late September is complicated. It shifts by the hour. Barbarossa has been watching it for 3 days. He knows what it will do at dawn. He knows something that 302 ships and the most respected admiral in Europe do not know. At first light, the wind shifts. It shifts in exactly the direction Barbarossa has been waiting for. He turns to his officers and says one word: attack. 122 Ottoman galleys accelerate toward 302 Holy League ships as the sun rises red over the Ionian Sea. By the time the battle is over, the Holy League fleet will be broken. Andrea Doria will retreat. Barbarossa will take 10 galleys and 3 warships and kill or capture 3,000 men without losing a single vessel of his own. The Mediterranean will belong to one man for the next 33 years, and that man began his life selling pottery on a Greek island. The island of Lesbos sits in the northern Aegean Sea, 3 kilometers off the coast of what is now Turkey. In 1478, it is Ottoman territory, inhabited by a population of Greek Christians and Turkish Muslims who have lived side by side long enough to stop noticing the difference. The boy born here that year is the son of a Turkish soldier turned potter and a Greek Christian widow. His birth name is Khizir. He is the third of 4 brothers. He grows up on the water. Lesbos is a sailor's island. Every family has a boat. Every boy learns the currents before he learns his letters. Khizir learns the Aegean, the way a shepherd learns a hillside, the channels that are safe, the headlands that create dangerous wind, the particular color the water turns before a storm. His older brother, Arouge, is bigger, louder, more reckless. Arouge laughs too much and takes risks that make their father nervous. But Arouge can sail anything, in any weather, in any sea. Together, the brothers take the family boat between the Aegean islands, trading wool, pottery, olive oil. It is ordinary work. It makes ordinary money. Then, the Knights of Rhodes stop Arouge's ship in the waters between Lesbos and the Turkish coast. The Knights of Rhodes are a Catholic military order who have controlled the island of Rhodes for 200 years. They regard the eastern Mediterranean as their private lake. They board Arouge's vessel, take his cargo, and take Arouge himself. They chain him to an oar. Arouge Reis spends 3 years as a galley slave, chained below deck, rowing in darkness and salt spray, and the smell of men who cannot leave their benches. His hands blister and scar and blister again. The whip comes down when the pace slackens. 3 years, the same oar, the same chain, the same darkness. For 3 years, Khizir raises the money to buy his brother back. He trades harder, saves more, borrows what he cannot earn. The ransom for a healthy galley slave is not a small sum. It takes 3 years. When Arouge finally walks free onto a dock in daylight, he has 2 things: a younger brother who spent 3 years getting him back, and a rage that will define the next 30 years of his life. They will spend every year of it taking it out on the sea. The brothers do not return to pottery. They go to Tunisia. They present themselves to the ruler of Tunis and propose an arrangement. They will operate as corsairs from his port, raiding Spanish and Italian vessels, splitting the proceeds. The ruler agrees. They have 2 galleys. They have nothing else. Corsairing in the 16th century Mediterranean is not simple piracy. It is a recognized profession with rules, with flags, with a home port and a legal structure. You raid the ships of your enemies. You sell what you take. You ransom the prisoners who are worth ransoming and put the rest to work on your own oars. It is a brutal business, conducted by brutal men, and the Barbarossa brothers are very, very good at it. They study the sea lanes the way a general studies a battlefield, the convoy routes from Genoa to Naples, the patrol patterns of the Spanish coastal guard, the harbors where merchant ships shelter in bad weather. They build a network of informants in Italian ports. They know which ships carry the most valuable cargo before those ships leave harbor. In 1504, 8 years after their first raid, they take the prize that makes their name permanent. 2 papal galleys are sailing from Genoa to Naples, carrying cargo and 500 Spanish soldiers. They fly papal colors. Attacking a ship under papal colors is an act of war against the Catholic Church. The brothers of Barbarossa attack them anyway. They take both ships in a single engagement. They take the cargo. They take the 500 Spanish soldiers and put them to work on their own oars, the same condition the Knights of Rhodes imposed on Arouge. The news reaches Rome in 4 days. It reaches Madrid in 6. Within a month, the name Barbarossa is in dispatches to every court in Europe. Their fleet grows. 2 galleys become 8. 8 become 20. They recruit from everywhere. Turkish sailors, Moorish refugees expelled from Spain, Greek Christians who prefer the corsair life, renegade Europeans who have converted and reinvented themselves. The raids become larger. The Spanish coastal populations learn to run for the hills when unfamiliar sails appear on the horizon. For 12 years, they raid. They grow rich. They grow famous. And then, Arouge decides that raiding ships is not enough. In 1516, the ruler of Algiers sends a message. He is struggling against his Spanish overlords and wants help removing them. Arouge brings 16 galleys and 1,000 men. He arrives, removes the Spanish, and then removes the local ruler as well. He takes the city for himself. A corsair who takes ships is a criminal. A corsair who takes a city is a rival power. Spain understands the difference immediately. They send an army. The fighting across the North African scrubland over the next 2 years is brutal. Arouge commands from the front, fighting with the silver prosthetic arm he had fitted after losing the original in an earlier engagement. He wins more than he loses, but the Spanish army is larger, better supplied, and relentless. In 1518, at the town of Tlemcen, the Spanish forces surround Arouge's position. There is no escape route. Arouge fights until there is no one left to fight beside him. He dies at Tlemcen. The silver arm is found in the dust after the battle. Hayreddin is now alone. He has Algiers. He has 40 galleys. He has the loyalty of men who followed his brother, but he has no way to hold all of it against the most powerful empire in the world. He does something Arouge would never have done. He sits down and thinks. Hayreddin writes a letter to the Ottoman Sultan Selim I in Constantinople. The letter offers something audacious. Hayreddin will deliver the North African coast to the Ottoman Empire. He will give the Sultan Algiers, the surrounding territory, and a fleet capable of raiding any European power in the Western Mediterranean. In exchange, he asks for 2,000 Janissary soldiers and Ottoman recognition. It is an extraordinary gamble. The Ottomans are an Eastern empire focused on Persia, Egypt, the land wars of the Levant. Hayreddin is asking them to look west. The Sultan agrees. 2,000 Janissaries arrive in Algiers. Hayreddin is given the title of governor, and over the next 15 years, he systematically delivers everything he promised, city by city, the entire North African coastline becoming, through Hayreddin's combination of military force and political skill, part of the Ottoman world. His fleet grows from 40 galleys to over 100. In 1533, the second letter arrives from Suleiman the Magnificent. It offers Hayreddin the position of Grand Admiral, Capudan Pasha, of the entire Ottoman fleet. He will command every ship the empire owns. The potter's son from Lesbos accepts. And so we return to the morning of September 28, 1538, and the Battle of Preveza. The Holy League fleet has been assembled specifically to stop this man. 302 ships. Andrea Doria has sailed from Genoa. The Venetian fleet from the Adriatic. Papal galleys from Rome. All of them here, in this bay, waiting for Barbarossa. They wait 3 days. Barbarossa watches the wind. On the morning of the 3rd day, the wind shifts, and he attacks. The Ottoman galleys use the wind to achieve speeds the heavier European vessels cannot match. Holy League ships that cannot weigh anchor in time are boarded and taken. Others are burned. Andrea Doria, faced with the possibility of losing his entire fleet, chooses to withdraw. The commander of 302 ships sails away from a battle against 122. It is one of the most decisive naval engagements in history. No Christian fleet challenges Ottoman naval power in the Mediterranean for the next 33 years. Every sea lane, every trade route, every coastal city from the Bosphorus to the Strait of Gibraltar exists at the permission of the man with the red beard. The slave from Lesbos owns the sea. 5 years later, in 1543, Hayreddin sails his fleet to France. France and the Ottoman Empire are allied against their common enemy, the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V. The alliance is scandalous, a Catholic king making common cause with the Ottoman Sultan, but Francis I needs Ottoman naval power more than he needs the Pope's approval. He invites Barbarossa to winter his fleet in the French port of Toulon. Hayreddin arrives with 110 galleys and 30,000 men. The French authorities evacuate the entire civilian population of Toulon. The cathedral is converted into a mosque. The call to prayer echoes over the rooftops of a French city 5 times a day for the entire winter. 30,000 Ottoman sailors winter in Toulon, conducting the most extraordinary cultural collision in the history of the Mediterranean. Charles V calculates. He is fighting the French in Italy. He is fighting Protestant princes in Germany. And now the most powerful naval force in the world is wintering in a French harbor. He cannot fight on 3 fronts. He sends ambassadors to Constantinople. He asks for a truce. The Holy Roman Emperor, the ruler of Spain and Austria and the Netherlands and half of the Americas, asks the Ottoman Sultan for peace. The slave from Lesbos accepts on his behalf. Hayreddin Barbarossa dies in Istanbul on the 4th of July, 1546. He is approximately 68 years old. He dies in a palace overlooking the Bosphorus, in a bed, attended by his family and his officers. The Sultan grants him a state funeral. His tomb is built in the Beşiktaş district of Istanbul, a few hundred meters from the water he spent his life on. It is still there today. He dictated his memoirs to a scribe in his final years. The manuscript runs to several thousand pages. Every raid, every battle, every storm survived. The complete account of a life that began on a potter's wheel on a Greek island and ended at the center of an empire. Consider the distance. A boy who learned to sail on his father's boat in the Aegean. A ransom paid over 3 years of desperate trading. 2 papal galleys taken in a single afternoon. A city taken from Spain. A letter to the most powerful ruler in the world. A battle where 122 ships defeated 302. A French city handed over to 30,000 Ottoman sailors. The Holy Roman Emperor asking for a deal. He did not start with power. He did not start with rank or backing or the resources of a great empire. He started with a boat and a brother and a reason to be angry at the sea. He ended as the most feared man on it. The sea did not give him anything. He took it, all of it. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Thank you.